what's up? The Dan Sandwich here, and back, and I'm making another NBA 2K2, 2K22, 2K22. How many 2Ks are there? How many 2s are there? A lot of 2s. Anyway, what's up? I'm making another video in NBA 2K22. I've had this idea for a little bit. Today I'm going to be picking 10 random all-time players from the NBA 2K all-time teams. I will be then taking their rookie versions and then putting them all on the same team and seeing how that team does in a simulation. So without further ado, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spin this wheel that you're looking at right now. It's going to pick the first team that I'm going to be selecting from, and then I'm going to be spinning another wheel, which is numbers 1 through 15. So I will then take the corresponding player from that team, number 1 through 15, and then I will be going into 2K's historical draft classes and taking that player, putting him on a team, and then going with that. I'm only picking 10 players because I want all 10 of these guys to actually get playing time. I don't want to have some, all-time great just rotting away on the bench. So for the remaining roster spots, I'll just like pick up free agents or whatever. But yeah, and then if I land on a player that doesn't have a version of himself in 2Ks as a rookie, I'll see if anyone has made them, because sometimes that's what happens. Is somebody's made that player in the game, and then if there isn't anyone like that, then I'll just pick again. So I'm doing the setup part of this right now. I will probably not record this entire video all in one day. So if I'm wearing like a different shirt or whatever in the second part of the video, that's why. Yeah. So without any further ado, and then I adu'd further. So I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel here. The other thing is every time I land on a selection, I'm going to remove that team or number from the wheel, so I don't end up with all of the same kinds of players. So the first team is the Timberwolves, and then the number is number 5. Right? Okay, 5. All right, sweet. So the 5th best player on the all-time Timberwolves team, so Tom Gugliatta, and I'm going to see if he exists in 2K's historical draft classes. Okay, yeah, so he does exist in the 2K's historical draft classes. So I'm going to go ahead and remove number 5 from the player list and the Timberwolves from the teams list. So that's 1 out of our 10 players out. Let's see who number 2 is going to be. And Grizzlies. And another team that doesn't have a huge history in the NBA. So let's see. Number 2, come on, number 2. Number 13. That's not great. Because again, they don't have a really story history. So, oh wait, I never switched over to. Whoops. Here, okay. So this is proof. Sorry, I'm gonna get better at this. But yeah, Grizzlies and the number 13. So let's see who is the 13th best player on the Grizzlies all-time list is Jonas Valanciunas. All right, he's definitely in the 2K draft classes because he's a current player, so I'm not even gonna have to look that up. And let's move on to the 3rd player on the team. Let's see, we could like the Lakers or all right, Mavericks. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see. Come on, let's get like a number 1 or a 2, like a real superstar on the team. And that's number 2. Sweet. Okay, I just like called that into existence. So let's see. For the Mavericks, that's either going to be like the 2nd best player in Mavericks history. Could it be Luka already? Could we get like Luka Doncic on this team already? Let's see. Yeah, okay, so Luka is the second best player on the Magic. So that's or on the Mavericks. That's a really good start. I think with Luka, because his rookie self in the game, he starts out pretty high already. So that's gonna be good. So that's a really, really good start. All right, so that's 3 players down. Again, like the only downside here is that we're not going to get another number 2 best player on a team because again that's the little wrinkle I'm adding in here. So it's not going to be a super stacked team. But if we land on a team that has like a really long storied history, like the Celtics or the Lakers or something like that, we could still get a really, really great player. The Heat, okay, so that they've got a lot of really good players in the history. I mean, if we get number 1 here, that's probably LeBron James, right? That would be insane. Doesn't look like it's gonna be number 1. It looks to be number 8. 1-8. All right. So that could still be. Let's see who the 8th best all-time Heat player is. So Chris Bosh. That's pretty good. That's actually really, really good. So we've got a pretty forward-heavy team right now. I mean, I guess I'm sure Gugliatta will be coming off the bench if Chris Bosh is here. But I like that. This is a pretty decent team already, I think. I mean, I'm really happy we got Luka. That there's only a few players that I would have rather had on the team, because he's such a beast in 2K. Like he's ridiculous. So let me go back to the wheels here and remove the 8th player. And I think Bosh at 8 is a really, really good value as well. Like, I feel like a lot of teams, their 8th best player isn't as good as Chris Bosh, who's a Hall of Famer. Ooh, the Warriors. Okay. So this could be really good. The Warriors have had a ton of really great players in their history. Come on, number 3, please. Please, number 3. Okay, that's awesome. That's great. So that's going to be like... It could be like Klay Thompson, I think. Let's see. Kevin Durant. Oh my god. Wait, let me switch back to 2K so you can actually see what I'm looking at. Yeah, the 3rd best player on their team is Kevin Durant. That's awesome. Okay. All right. Things are looking pretty good right now. And spin again. Okay, Pacers or Pelicans? Pelicans, all right, that's rough. That's kind of rough because they don't have. That's another team without a really long history. Although I don't know if they, because I think once the Hornets became the Hornets again, or New Orleans once became the Hornets again, I think all the Hornets players are on the Hornets now. And yeah, the 14th best player on the Pelicans all-time team. But yeah, I mean the 14th best player on their team is still Eric Gordon, which is all right. Like Eric Gordon is like a really good, he'll be a good, bench player, or if we don't actually end up getting another shooting guard, because that's the other thing we run the risk of getting here, because right now he would be the starting shooting guard on the team. But you could do a lot worse than Eric Gordon, I think. And he would play really well alongside Luka Doncic, a guy who can stretch the floor. So I don't hate that, Then again, like the other bright side here is, there's number 14's off the board now. So we'll spin again. And speaking of the Hornets, it's going to land on the Hornets. Again, another team without a long history. But let's see which player we end up with from Hornets. Don't waste number 1 on the Hornets, please. Okay. So number 9. Number 9 on the Hornets. Vlade Divac. All right. Let me just make sure that he is in the historical draft classes. I think he will be. But I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, so I did check, and Vlade Divac is in the historical draft classes. So he will be added to the team. So let's go back to the wheels here and remove number 9 and the Hornets. And we will spin again to see which team we will be selecting from once again. So Utah Jazz. All right, that's pretty good. They have had a long history of success. So that's a pretty good team. They're probably going to run a little bit deep as well. So let's see number 6 on the Jazz. Andrei Kirilenko. That's pretty good. I like that. I like that pick a lot. Very versatile player, kind of all-around threat. He's going to be a guy who can kind of guard all positions. All right, so we got 2 more players to have selected this team. And let's spin to find another team. Let's see who we end up on. The Hawks. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. They've had a lot of like really good players in their history as well. Can we get a number 1 here? That'd be awesome. We got a number 1. Get like Dominique Wilkins or something like that. 4. Looks like it's gonna be 4. Oh, okay, sweet. All right, so it did end up on 1. I was not sure it was gonna end up on 1. So we get Dominique Wilkins on the team, which is interesting because we already have Kevin Durant. And they played the same position basically, but we could figure that out. I think we could figure that out. So let's see. The Hawks, yeah, number 1 is Dominique Wilkins. So that's exciting. So we get a number 1 on the team finally. Wasn't sure if that was going to happen. Yeah, so we're on to our 10th and final player to be added to this team. All right, so final team here. And it's going to be the Raptors. Again, another team that doesn't have like a super long history in the NBA. Can we get... All right, so number 4 would be sweet. Just so we can get another great player on the team. But looks like it's going to be number 7. Pascal Ciaco. Okay, pretty good. So that's pretty good. He's a player with really high upside. And, he's done some really good things in the NBA. So let's see. Let's add Pascal Ciaco to the team. So my original plan was whichever team was the highest rated player that we drafted, that's the team that we would be taking over. So it looks like we're going to be the Hawks. So I'm going to go build this team. It's going to take me a little bit because I have to go and find the players, create them, and put them on the team. So I'm going to go do that, and I will be back in a little bit once that's done. Okay, so that took me a little bit, but here we go. This is the team that I made. So we got the 10 players I drafted. I don't have to reiterate all that again. And then just to fill out the roster, I just grabbed a couple of free agents that were lower overall than the players that we drafted. The biggest hole in this team is there's no like real backup point guard. I did make Eric Gordon a point guard just so he could play the backup point guard minutes. There'd be somebody playing point guard, but then there's no backup shooting guard. So it's kind of like that's like the biggest hole in our lineup, that we just have too many forwards, not enough guards. But that's kind of the challenge of this. And it's after the starting lineup and after it's 6-man, things drop off pretty quick. I mean, Pascal Ciaco is only a 71 overall as a rookie because he got off to a really slow start to his career. And then Vlade Divac, also not a very highly rated player out the gate either. But that's kind of the point. These guys are going to get better over their careers, and it's going to be kind of fun to watch that happen. But I think the starting 5 is really solid. I had to move Luka to the point guard, so his overall dropped a little bit. And then same with Dominique Wilkins, I moved him to shooting guard, so his overall dropped a little bit as well. But this is a good starting 5, I think, and especially moving forward as they get better. And I think once we get like another point guard or shooting guard in the NBA draft or something like that moving forward, this team's going to fill out pretty nicely. I did also give everyone a 6-year contract as well, just so they'd stick around. There's no threat of free agency except for the four guys I added just to fill out the roster. They're just going to be filler players for a while. But I wanted at least the first season to be the 10 guys that we started out with. So yeah, that's going to be the team moving forward. I think this will be pretty fun to watch how this team plays and grows and evolves and stuff like that. So, yep, I'm gonna do this thing. Why am I have no idea how to like go into the next part of the video. I'm terrible about this. But anyway, not sure if I'm gonna finish this today or a different time. So whatever. See how it goes. But I'm excited to see what this team does. Hey, I'm back. As I said before, this is a day after I recorded that first bit. So I'm going to start the simulation pretty soon here. I just want to show you how I incorporated this team into this league. Instead of replacing an existing team, I just added them to the league as another team. Put in the same division as the real Atlanta Hawks. I thought it made the most sense. Just keep the Hawks with the Hawks. So yeah, I'll just jump into it. And then I am going to turn off injuries so we don't have to deal with that. A couple of interesting things that I thought of when I was making this roster. It's funny because Luka Doncic was originally drafted by the Hawks and then traded to Dallas on draft day. And then he's on the same team as Vlade Divac, who had the opportunity to draft him as the GM of the Sacramento Kings and then pass him up. So that's kind of interesting. You've got Luka on the team that drafted him, and then you've got on the same team the guy who could have drafted him and didn't. Also, like, look at Vlade Divac's face. It's terrible. I don't know. I thought about trying to fix that as well, but I don't think it's worth it. But yeah, that's our team. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off injuries, and then I will start simulating. I'll see you at the end of season 1. Okay, at the end of season 1, Kevin Durant was the rookie of the year. He averaged 20 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, shooting 47, 79, and 34%, I guess, from 3. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, the team did not do very well. 14th in the conference, 24 in the power rankings. So not a great year for this team. But, it's full of rookies and guys who are like 70 overall because they're, some of these guys were like late bloomers. They should be everyone should be on the all-rookie team. So we got 3 guys on the all-rookie first team, and then Chris Bosh on the all-rookie second team. So, 4 all-rookie selections. That should be what have happened there. I am a little surprised given how good Luka and Durant specifically are in this game. I kind of expected us to maybe make the play-in, but it's really early. Like they're rookies. Like I don't know. I know, like that's ironic. The real Kevin Durant won Finals MVP for the Nets. But yeah, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised there. Now I am going to take a little bit more control over this team than I had like some of the other simulation videos I did. So I'm actually going to let's see where we ended up in the draft lottery. This is the 8th best odds, so not amazing odds. But let's see where we ended up, and we dropped to 9. So let's go to the NBA draft. I'm just going to skip to our pick and see who we can take with the number 9 pick. Let's see what we got. So again, our biggest issue right now on the team, I think, is our guard situation. So maybe this Irwin Harvey guy, shooting guard / point guard. He's 23 years old already. That's not great, but his ceiling is Seth Curry, which I think would suit the team pretty well. And even his floor is not that low. Marco Bellinelli. So he's kind of like a pretty, maybe like a low risk pick here. Let's see who else is available at the guard spot. Frank McGetty. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna go with our guy Irvin here, Irvin Harvey. See how he ends up. So let's see. Our guy is a 75 overall. That's pretty solid, I think. It definitely would get some minutes on this team, depending on what the progression situation looks like. And then in round 2, 73 is not bad for a second rounder. So I don't know. We might actually keep both of these guys. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sign both of them. And then I don't know. See if we can make some noise in free agency as well. The big problem here is if we go for like Levine or Beal, it's going to move one of our guys to the bench, like one of the guys we want to have success there to the bench. But I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. The only problem is who do we move to the bench? And I'm thinking if we go with one of these two guards, if we can get them, moving Valanciunas to the bench may be a good idea, and then move like Bosch to the center position, and have Durant play the 4, and then also then you have Dominique Wilkins playing his natural position of small forward. So if I can get one of these shooting guards here, that might be the best way to go. And I think both of these guys would play really well on our team. Because they would kind of fit our personnel pretty well. So I'm going to offer both of them a contract. Let's see if anyone else is kind of like here. I mean, Julian Brunson, I don't really see much of a reason to get him on here. I think he would kind of, I don't know if he would really work well with our team. Although I guess he works well with Luka Doncic in real life. I don't know. He's got no offers, so I feel like we could get him. We'll offer him a contract, and then he can play like backup point guard, or maybe even if we don't get two of the big free agents, either of those big free agents, we could do just what I was talking about here, and maybe move Luka to the 2 guard, or even have Brunson play the 2 guard like he does in real life, alongside Luka Doncic. Okay, cool. So, all right. Bradley Beal and Julian Brunson both agreed to join the team. So I think that's a really good situation for us. So yeah, that's actually really good. So what we'll do then is we'll move Bradley Beal into the starting lineup and have Jalen Brunson come off the bench, along with Eric Gordon. The big problem here is now, it's moving some of the guys that we selected down, but I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, given what they have going on. And Bradley Beal obviously is now the best player on the team. No real surprise there. We got some solid progression though. So Durant went up 5, so did Luka Doncic, so did Dominique Wilkins. So the 3 best players on the team all jumping up considerably. Bosch and Valanciunas not really moving up too much. Neither did Kirilenko. Gugliatta went up 3. Eric Gordon went up 3. Siakam only went up 2, and Divac only went up 3. So I don't know. It's definitely good to see the players that are hopefully going to be carrying us through this, progressing the fastest and furthest. But also keep in mind too, like Siakam, for example, he took a while in real life for him to turn into like an all NBA player. So that's not too outside the realm of possibility. And Eric Gordon, even on the all-time team, was like an 81 overall. So not too surprising to see that he's not really coming up too much faster Although this is really good to see. Like, I don't know why Eric Gordon's 3-point rating as a rookie is 75, considering that's what he's best known for. And again, I don't really remember his career starting off. I do remember he was a lot more of a slasher earlier in his career, like more of an athletic like guy that can get like dunks and layups and stuff like that. But I was a little surprised to see that his 3-point rating was so low, considering that's his best skill in real life right now. But it's good to see that that's improving steadily. So yeah, I mean, it should be a much better season this year now that we have like a legit all-star on the team and Bradley Beal that can kind of like help bring up these younger players. And then, you know, the guys that we have on the team are progressing solidly as well. So that's all really good to see. Okay, so here is the adjusted roster now. So I moved Dominique back to small forward, which is his natural position. Same thing with Kevin Durant back to power forward. And then I moved Bosch over to center so that he could start over Valanciunas. And then we've got Brunson. I made him a point guard to get some more point guard minutes on the team. He's coming off the bench as the 6th man. And then you see the rest of the roster there. I was going to make Kirilenko a power forward, but considering Gugliatta is already a power forward and we needed a backup small forward, I left him as small forward. And then by taking Eric Gordon to a shooting guard, his overall jumped up to 77. But yeah, I mean, this team, I think, looks dramatically better than last year. Obviously, by adding Bradley Beal is a big part of that. I don't think it's too unfair to do that. And then, like, I put, like, the guys that I added otherwise, like Lonnie Walker and Ibaka, don't even get minutes on the team anyway. So not a big deal. The biggest downside is that by adding Bradley Beal and Julian Brunson, our guys Siakam and Divac are just like at the end of the bench. But that's okay. I think that's still got like the full starting lineup, the exception of Beal as the guys that we are interested in seeing the progression of their careers. And I don't know. I think it makes sense. You can flame me in the comments if you want. But whatever. This is my video, so suck it, I guess. I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and simulate the second season and see where we're at the end of year 2. I think we should be a lot better, but so far it looks like we're basically the same last year. A few more wins. Okay, but let me I'll stop recording here, and then I'll pick up at the end of the second season. Okay, at the end of season 2, and you can see in the upper right-hand corner, they were a lot better this year. 6th in the conference. They're in the playoffs without having messed with the play-in, and they're 2nd in power rankings. So, like, they must have, while they didn't win as many games, they must have, showed off some impressive ability there. The real Luka Doncic is the most valuable player, as you can see there. Hopefully one day our Luka Doncic will replace him there. Didn't get any other awards, looks like. So, we'll see what we do in the playoffs. Anybody on the All-NBA teams? Okay, Durant, right next to the real Kevin Durant on the All-NBA 3rd team. So that's pretty cool. You finally got an All-NBA player. Anybody on the All-Defensive teams? Man, I really wish that this glitch didn't continue. Yeah, all right, so nobody on the all defensive teams. But yeah, we're a 6th seed facing Detroit in the playoffs. Let's simulate the play-in real quick and then see who's on Detroit right now. So basically, it's the real-life Detroit team with a auto-generated rookie and Yusuf Nurkic on the team. And Cade Cunningham progressing nicely as well. But I really think it looks like we should be able to handle this team, I think. So let's just I'm just going to simulate the whole round because this is going to be a long video because I'm simulating basically the entire career of 10 guys. So playing Cleveland in the second round, everybody knows Cleveland in 2K gets ridiculous because look at that. Darius Garland's a 91. This is like the first time in a simulation I've seen them keep Lauri Markkanen in the starting lineup, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think, this Cleveland team is obviously great in 2K. It seems like every simulation I've ever done, they win the championship in year 2. So can we hang it? Nope. Yeah, they can't hang against Cleveland. Again, not a surprise given what we know about that Cleveland team in 2K. And like I said before, they win the championship in year 2. Jared Allen with the Finals MVP. That's interesting. All right, so yeah, let's see. I'm just gonna move over to the NBA draft. No point in looking at the lottery this year because we weren't in the lottery this year. And let me see who we can get on our team. Okay, so send a user pick, and let's see. I actually should have looked at our roster beforehand. But I might just go for the best overall here because I feel like we got a balanced team already. Let's see what they think this guy is going to be. Drew Holiday and Steve Kerr, got a pretty good overall player, I think. Good defense, probably, and good shooting. So I'm just going to go with like the best overall, looks like, because I feel like we're probably going to be in a pretty good space outside of that. And Gene Fleming, we probably won't even keep this guy. Yeah, I'll just, maybe we should look into trading those draft picks. But I feel like making trades is maybe not in the spirit of this thing here. Oh, he's actually a pretty decent rookie at 75 overall, just like the other guy that we drafted last year. Pretty good draft class, it looks like. Maybe just very balanced, maybe not like top heavy or anything like that. But are we going to sign any of these guys? Yeah, we're going to sign our first round pick, looks like. And then what does our team look like right now? All right, so Dominique Wilkins now is the best player in the team. That's a little bit surprising, although he is the oldest player. So maybe that goes into that a little bit. But he moved up 6 overall points, which is usually the most you see is 5. So going up 6 is pretty crazy. And then right behind him at 89 and 89 overall is Luka and Kevin Durant. That's pretty cool as well. Even Julian Brunson is continuing to progress, which is cool. Bosch slowly progressing as well. Again, he's only 20, so that's not a huge deal there. Gugliatta moving up 3 overall points is actually pretty good because now he's, he's actually going to be a serviceable backup. Valanciunas slowly progressing as well, and Eric Gordon actually moving up 5 overall points to 80. That's pretty great. And his 3-pointer now is an A-, which is really, really good. So that's cool. Maybe when Beal, when his contract runs up, Eric Gordon might be the go-to shooting guard on the team. Kirilenko didn't progress at all. Divac moved up 2 overall points, which is good. Siakam moved up 2 overall points. So a little concerning that Kirilenko seemed to slow down his progression. But he was always just a role player in real life anyway. I think it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, pretty cool seeing that like Dominique moved up 6 overall points to 90 overall. So he's our first 90 on the team. But we're 3rd in the power rankings going into the season. That's really exciting. Great stuff to see there. All right, end of year 3, and you can see in the upper right-hand corner there, they were the first team in the conference, first team in the power rankings. So awesome year, of course. Unfortunately, still no MVP for our Luka Doncic or anybody else on the team. The real Luka Doncic just dominating the MVP award, as he usually does in NBA 2K. No other regular season awards for our guys. And see, All NBA second team for Kevin Durant, and then that's it. The only All NBA selections. No All Defensive selections either. But number 1 in the conference. Okay. Yes, they won 61 games that season, which is pretty good. That's definitely good enough for number 1 in the conference. Here we go. Let's go into the playoffs. They're playing Boston Celtics. They were a play-in team, but they're in the NBA Finals right now in real life. And as you can see, they've got pretty much the same team they do in real life. Only difference is Peyton Pritchard is there instead of Marcus Smart. Smart probably went in free agency somewhere. But we should be able to handle this team. We got 290 overalls in the team now, an 89, 88. Like, you should be able to handle this team no problem. Let's simulate through the round. And that's a sweep. A nice clean sweep. Now we're going up against Cleveland, the team they lost to last year. Once again, they look exactly the same here, except Okoro is in the starting lineup over Sexton now. And he might have gone somewhere as well. That's usually what happens too. Again, like, part of the reason why I was okay doing being the Hawks for this simulation is just how fire their jerseys are. The old school Atlanta Hawks jerseys, the Dominique Wilkins era jerseys are just incredible, and you can't say otherwise. If you do, wrong. But anyway, our team got a lot better, but so did theirs too. You got 290 overalls in their team now as well, so there should be a decent battle in the playoffs. Let's see if they can get past them this year, and they do. They handle it 4-1 pretty easily. They're seeing Detroit again, which is who they saw in the first round of the playoffs last year. So what do they look like now? Yeah, again, basically the same team as they had before, except they don't have Jeremy Grant. They don't have Jeremy Grant on their team. They have Isaiah Stewart in the starting lineup now. I think we can beat this team. I mean, just looking at it side by side, we definitely should be able, like, they have nobody that can handle Luka Doncic on their team, which, doesn't happen in real life anyway. Like, who can handle it? Let's see. Can we get to the finals? Oh, just barely scrape by. Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. And now we're facing the real Luka Doncic, who was a 7th seed, had to come out of the play-in. That's crazy. And that's where we traded Irvin Harvey to. That's funny. So a little bit of a revenge game for Irvin Harvey. But yeah, you can clearly see why they were an 8 seed or 7 seed. Because outside of Luka, they don't really have much else on their team. So I feel like this should be the first. This should be the first championship for this team. But let's just see. Win game 1, lose game 2, lose game 3. Oh my God, guys, come on. 3-1 down in the finals to Luka Doncic. Come on, can we come back from 3-1? No, okay. Yeah, so it looks like the experience of the real Luka Doncic was too much for our younger, not by much, because he's still very young, Luka Doncic. And 31, 10, and 11 in the finals. That's pretty insane. So a little disappointing. I thought we would beat that team because they didn't really have much else going for them. But still feels pretty good to get to the finals that year. And, that was the 3rd season. So they got a lot of time ahead of them. Simulate to player progression from here. And see where everyone's at the start of year 4. And Luka has surpassed Dominique as the best player in the team, which... I think we could have all seen that coming, given what we know about Luka in 2K. Bradley Beal's still 87. He hasn't regressed or progressed. He's 31. So he'll probably be regressing pretty soon here. Brunson has kind of plateaued as well. But we got 390s now. We got Doncic, Wilkins, and Durant, which is exciting. Eric Gordon has stayed at 80 overall. Not super surprising there, given, like I said before, his all-time team self was like an 81 overall. So wouldn't be shocked if he just stayed there for the rest of the relation. Valanciunas moved up to an 83 though. That's surprising a little bit. And Gugliatta steadily climbing up to 82. Divac is up to a 79 overall. And then Siakam is a 76. So got some depth now. Even Murphy, the guy we drafted last year, is a 77 overall, which is pretty solid. So I think this team should win a championship. I was a little surprised we did as well as we did last year. I would be shocked if they didn't win the championship this year. And then, maybe, I don't think like 70 games is outside the realm of possibility for this team. But we'll simulate year 4, and then I will see you at the end of the season. All right, another year, another MVP for Luka Doncic. The Mavs, not our team yet. The dude's unstoppable. Like, it's ridiculous. That's why I was so excited that we got him in that randomly selection that we did, because he makes a huge difference in this game. And did we get any? No, nothing. No individual awards. But once again, we were the first seed in the East. Let's see, any All NBA selections. Kevin Durant, second team All NBA again. And once again, nobody else on the team. I thought we'd see maybe someone else show up on an All NBA team, but I guess not. And then let's see, 68 and 14. So I was hoping for 70 wins, but not too far off from there. Pretty good all around. But let's see. I mean, we got to win the championship this year. I'm looking at Dallas across the way, and they're the second seed, so we might be facing them again. But Washington Wizards, they have Kyrie Irving now. They actually have a really good team. Like, that's a really solid overall team, and they were the 8th seed. That's crazy. Like I said, I have injuries turned off, so that like there's no reason for them to be that bad. But it didn't matter because we swept them in round 1. Facing Boston again in round 2. Let's see. Once again, kind of the same thing going on as what they had the year before, except now they have Kendrick Nunn and Maurice Dunn. So they got the Nunn and Dunn connection in Boston there. Once again, I don't think we should have any trouble with them either. Let's see how it goes though. Yeah, 4-1. Handled them no problem. And the Raptors are in the Eastern Conference Finals because they have Lonzo Ball and Karl-Anthony Towns now. That's a pretty good team. You got Scotty Barnes and Karl-Anthony Towns as your front court, and then Lonzo Ball as the point guard. That's a good team. I don't think there'll be any trouble for us. But also, I just noticed that Valanciunas is now the starting center, which is fine. I'll let it roll. I think he actually might be a higher overall now than Bosch anyway, which is crazy. Oh wow, okay, so and then we're not okay. So good news is we're not facing Luka in the finals this year, but we are facing the other Titan of 2K, and that's Dion Williamson. They got a pretty good overall team, but I think they're a better team than what we faced last year in the finals, which is concerning. But we're also a better team than we were in the last year in the finals as well. So let's see. We take game 1, take game 2, lose game 3, up 3-1, and we get a championship. So first championship in the books for our team. Luka Doncic, Finals MVP. Not crazy numbers there, and that's probably why we're not going to see any of our guys like get MVP because like there's too much to go around. But only 18, 6 and 11 for Luka. But crazy efficiency there. Like, look at that. 60% from the field, 56 from 3. That's nuts. So that's what you can kind of expect out of this team. Like, they may not have big individual numbers, but their guys are going to be efficient, and they're going to do what they need to do. So the biggest thing here is that Julian Brunson he said he's going to test free agency. So we gotta see if we can find someone to replace his minutes. So we're gonna try to re-sign Brunson. I think it makes sense to keep him on the team, especially since the other guy, he may not turn into anything. So let's just see. All right, cool. So we're keeping Brunson around. So let's move on to player progression then. Luka only went up 1 to 95. Durant moved up 3 to 94 though. Beal is starting to regress a little bit, which is what we expected. He's 32 years old now. But that's fine for this team because we got a lot of young talent. And yeah, just like I thought earlier, Valanciunas now is like the same overall as Bosch, which is why he was getting some starting time there. Gugliatta, only 82 now. He's looks like he's slowed down progression. Eric Gordon moved up to 81. We're getting some more solid progression from Vlade Divac. I never know how to say that. Is it Divac or Divac? Someone's gonna. I mean, if anyone is watching that knows the real answer to that, I know I could probably just look it up and it'd be fine. But Yeah, pretty good so far. I mean, we got Jeremy Murphy. He moved up to a 79, so that's like solid backup point guard territory there. Um, and then Siakam is still only a 76. So I don't know. This may not be the time we see Siakam turn into the All NBA player that he is in real life. But we're like really good at the top. We got a lot of good depth. So that's about what I expected with this team, just to see going forward. Again, we got really lucky getting Doncic, Durant, and Wilkins. Could have been a lot worse, I think. So go on to the next season and see if we can repeat after just winning a championship. All right, so I said last season that I didn't think that one of our guys would win MVP because they played too much team basketball. Guess what? Kevin Durant wins MVP for our Hawks team. Not crazy stats here. So 22, 7, 6.5 assists per game, steal and a half, block and a half. Really good shooting splits, 54, 90, 43. But we must have had an insane season if he wins MVP off of those, not amazing statistics. But yeah, I mean, once again, there was a first seed in the East. Kevin Durant, obviously, his first team All NBA since he was the MVP. Let's see. Nobody else on the All NBA teams from our team, which is crazy. It seems like, I thought maybe Luka would be the guy you'd see on the All NBA teams, but he hasn't been. Actually, they won one less game than last season, only 67 games, which is a little surprising. But good enough, obviously, to be the number one seed. Obviously, good enough to get an MVP. And they're facing Cleveland in the first round, who was a play-in team, which is surprising. Well, especially because like their team is basically the same as it has been, except they lost Markkanen. But they have 390 overalls on their team, and they're a play-in team, which is nuts. I don't know how that could have happened. But let's see. We handled them pretty well in the playoffs last year, but they are, I think, overall a better team. And we take it 4-1 against them this year. Orlando in round 2. What does their team look like right now? So yeah, you got like, Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter Jr. there, but they add Desmond Bane and Fred VanVleet to their roster. So a pretty well-rounded roster looks like, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take us out. Let's simulate the round there as well. 4-0 sweep, no surprise there. And we're looking at the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals behind a 90 overall RJ Barrett. I don't think I've ever seen RJ Barrett get this good in a simulation that I've done yet. But they got a pretty good team overall too. You got Domantas Sabonis there, De'Aaron Fox, Clint Capella. Pretty solid team, I think. But once again, I don't think it's going to be a problem for us. Hopefully, simulate the round. Yeah, so if we only lost one game in the Eastern Conference playoffs so far. We're facing the Rockets in the finals, and they've got Jalen Green, who always gets insane in these simulations, and Andre Drummond, Kevin Porter Jr. at 84 overall. So a solid team overall. 96 is as good as anybody else on our team, but I still don't think it's going to be a problem for us. I'm just going to simulate the round because we got a lot to go through here. And yeah, we swept them as well. So only lost one game all playoffs long. And Durant is in very select company there by winning the regular season MVP and the finals MVP in the same season. Pretty good stuff there. Let me make sure. I think that now is the time for me to... All right, they all have 1 year left on their deals. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to add on to their contracts here. And then Bradley Beal's contract is expired, but he has a extension I think he's signing. So I'll see what the team looks like here in a couple of minutes now. All right, so Bradley Beal is back on the team. His contract expired, but we signed him to a new one. So cool that we were able to get Bradley Beal back on the team. He's still an 87 overall, so he's still, definitely worth keeping around. But our center position is getting a little bit interesting as progression continues. Although I feel like Bosch has kind of solidifies himself now to 86. And Beal, all right, so as I say that, Beal dropped down to an 84. So maybe not the best idea of re-signing him to a 5-year, $141 million contract. But it's fine because we got our core still. Eric Gordon, still pretty good. Siakam is a 77 overall now. Really the only guy on our team that I think is not going to be the best to have on there. But once again, we got a really good overall team. Kind of keeps the same thing around. Dorian Finney-Smith left, but that's not a big deal because I don't think he's getting very much playing time anyway. So let's move on to the next season. I'll catch you at the end of that one. All right, so Durant was not able to go back-to-back for MVPs this season. But, we still were the number 1 seed, best team in the league. Durant was still on the All-NBA first team, though, as you'd expect. And then no one else was on the All-NBA teams. Again, see how many games we won this season. 67-15 again. So same as last year. Not really super surprising there since our team is pretty much the same as it was before. We got a little bit better, but not like crazy better. So I'm just gonna move things on a little bit now because it's getting to the point where we shouldn't miss the finals ever again. Yeah, 4-0 sweep through the entire playoffs so far and win another championship, and Durant wins another finals MVP. Again, nothing surprising there. All right, back to player progression, and we've got Luka, still the best player in the team at a 97, Durant's 96, Wilkins at 85. Brunson keeps progressing, which is exciting, and then it looks like, man, where's Beal? Yeah, he's all the way down at 81 now, which, he's 34. That's kind of what we expected, but yeah, I kind of regret now signing him to that big contract, but he's still going to be a really good player on this team if he's not the starter anymore. Siakam, he went down 1 overall, but I think it's just because I switched him from a power forward to a small forward. But yeah, other than that, pretty good overall. Kind of what I expected here. Did not expect Valanciunas to get to around the same overall as Chris Bosh, which is nuts because Bosh is obviously a Hall of Famer, even though his career was shortened by health issues and things like that. I don't know if I really consider Valanciunas to be on that same level. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to get going and start simulating to the next season. Still surprised we haven't hit 70 games won in a season yet, but that's not an easy benchmark to achieve. But with our team as good as ours, I'm a little surprised that's not the case. All right, the reign of terror of the real Luka Doncic is over. And our Luka Doncic has superseded him, as well as his own teammate of Kevin Durant, who was the former MVP on his own team. Luka averaged 20 points, 7.5 rebounds a game, 11 assists, 50, 40, 90 shooting splits. That's an amazing season once again. Let's see. And for the first time, we have 2 All-NBA first-team players. We got Luka and Kevin Durant. And actually, it's funny because both Luka Doncic's are here. Luka Doncic, if you will. Anybody else on the All-NBA teams? Nope. But pretty cool that we got 2 guys on the All-NBA first team. Let's see where we end up with this year. So 72-10. So I was just talking trash about how they couldn't win 70 games in a season. And here we are, 72-10. Pretty cool stuff. Once again, we're just going to simulate through the playoffs and see where they end up with. Again, I think they should just be winning every championship from here on out. And yeah, they did not prove me wrong there either. And Luka also wins the Finals MVP, doing well better than his regular season stats at 27, 7, and 11. So yeah, another season down, another championship. that should be par for the course going forward here, given the quality of our team. I'm just going to skip to player progression. And yeah, so none of our core guys have progressed this season, at least in overall. You can see like some of their ratings have gone up a little bit, but they're still the same overall. But at 97, 96, 95, there's not really anything to complain about there. And then Bosch went up a little bit further, and so did Valanciunas. Eric Gordon progressed a little bit further as well. He's in the starting shooting guard spot now. Maybe I should move Wilkins back to the shooting guard, Durant back to the small forward, so we can get our best 5 players all playing at once. Or I'll just keep Valanciunas coming off the bench. But I might want to do that just because we got Divac now progressing, still 83 overall. So I think I might do that. I think I'm just going to change things around a little bit so that all of our best 3 players, or all of our best 5 players, can be starting at the same time. And then Beal now is all the way down to a 78 overall, which is a little upsetting because he's still owed 3 years at 90 million. But that's all right. He can just continue to be riding off the bench and collecting championships. We don't really need him at this point. All right, not to be outdone by his teammate from last season, but Kevin Durant comes back and wins MVP after Luka Doncic takes it away from him. Again, not crazy stats, but just the team success. You can't really fault them by giving it to whoever the best player is on the best team. I think this is our coach here, and you can't see because I'm blocking it right now, but it looks like they went 73-9 this year, which is a 1-game improvement over last year and ties the Golden State Warriors for the most wins all time. Surprising that our Luka Doncic, did not make the All-NBA first team this year, since he was the MVP and All-NBA first team last year. He didn't even make an All-NBA team at all, which is crazy. I don't know how that happened, but doesn't really matter because they're going to win the championship again. They should. Okay, I thought they might have lost in round 1, which would have been crazy. But yeah, another championship for this team. Kevin Durant wins Finals MVP. It'd be really crazy if Durant and Doncic just traded back and forth. Finals MVP, regular season MVP. Cool. So we re-signed everybody that we needed to re-sign. Let's go on to player progression. See how everyone's doing, if anyone is starting to regress yet, or if they're just steadily climbing. And Durant went up 1. I think that's from when we moved him from a power forward to a small forward. He went up 1. That Brunson's starting to decline a little bit. He is 32 now. But he's still an 85 overall, which is really, really good for a backup point guard. Gugliatta went up 1 more. Divac went up 1 more. Kirilenko went up 1 more. Siakam continues to improve bit by bit. And Beal is now the worst player on the team, but he's the highest paid player on the team, I think. Which isn't saying much because I have all the other guys on like minimum deals just to keep them here. But yeah, so that Beal contract doesn't look super great now in retrospect, but it's fine since we didn't really need him anyway, but it was good to have him on the team. So, okay, let's see what we do this season again. I have no doubt that we're going to be just unstoppable once again. All right, another year, another MVP for Kevin Durant. So that's 3 MVPs, I think, for Durant to Doncic's 1. And then let's see, any other regular season awards for this team? Nope, but they are improved by 1 more game. There's 74-8, which is now officially the record for most wins in a regular season for this team. Once again, nobody else, let's see, on the All-NBA teams besides Durant, which is just really interesting to me that somehow they continue to not make All-NBA teams on this team. But let's see if they can win another championship. Looks like it won't be any problem for them. Oh no. Okay, so that's their first championship loss. It's still LaMelo Ball, who also is just unstoppable in 2K. So that makes a little bit of sense there. They would lose to him. But their first championship loss in a while, but that's pretty disappointing going from 74-8, so losing in the finals. Kind of like that Warriors team too. So there's something to be said about, maybe you shouldn't go for the all-time regular season record for wins. I'm gonna simulate one more season in this video because that'll be 10 seasons, and then I'll call that part 1, and then I'll pick this up later and do a part 2 where I simulate to the end of their careers. So that's kind of my idea here. So we'll do one more season on this video and see if they can get another championship. And I'll kind of do a recap at the end here to see kind of like what kind of awards and things like that they've won and where they're at as far as that goes. Team, let's go to player progression and see what everyone's looking at right now. I feel like everyone's kind of is going to plateau for right now. Although Bosch has gotten a little bit better now, and so did Valanciunas. This is a really funny thing for me to look at, just like Bosch and Valanciunas going back and forth, constantly improving, trying to be the top dog in the big man spot. That's really, really funny to me. Let's see. Brunson is regressing a little bit now. Gugliatta is the first of our players to actually start regressing, it looks like, at age 30, going from 84 down to 83. So that's interesting. And then Beal is completely dropped off the map now. Just cashing those checks, though. $32 million to be a bench warmer and collect, hopefully, another championship this season. Let's go forward and see what happens in year 10. And I'll do like a little bit of a recap at the end of the season to see kind of where these guys' careers have been at so far. And then I will pick up in part 2 after that. All right, so Kevin Durant wins his 4th MVP. Just, easy money for him now. And once again, 74-8 was the team's record once again. And once again, nobody else on the All-NBA teams looks like, which is still surprising to me. I will continue to be surprised. You can win 74 games in a season and not only have one All-NBA player. But let's see, should be able to handle the playoffs once again. Okay, good. So they redeemed themselves over losing last season, and they win another championship. Kevin Durant, Finals MVP once again. So let's see where the team's at right now as far as going over like awards and things like that real quick. So right now, Luka Doncic, he has 1 MVP on his resume, 6 championships, 7 All-Stars. And then you got Durant with 4 MVPs, 9 All-Star appearances, a bunch of NBA selections, All-NBA selections. Dominique Wilkins has been an All-Star 4 times, but no other awards to speak of. And I think that's going to be all the awards you're going to be seeing right now. And so, yeah, they've got 6 championships right now in 10 seasons. They've won 70 games a couple times in a row now. Let's see. Did Bradley Beal retire yet? Not yet. Okay, so it looks like he's probably going to stick around at least for one more season. I'm just kind of looking for when Bradley Beal retires now. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna call this part 1. So far so good, man. I mean, you got guys that are in the no 99s yet, but like 98, 97 overalls. Yeah, let's just skip right to player progression. See where everyone's at the end of year 10. If anyone's regressing yet, or if they're continuing to progress. It looks like Bosch has moved up another point here. Divac is still improving at age 30, which is a little surprising. But Gugliatta drops another overall point. Brunson's starting to regress a little bit. And yeah, it looks like we didn't even re-sign Bradley Beal, which is fine because he was the worst player in the team by a large margin. Yeah, just one more look at the roster before I get out of here. So we're looking pretty good at point guard still. Shooting guard still pretty good. Small forward, power forwards, and centers. So yeah, still a really good overall team. And yeah, Bradley Beal's gone now. So I wonder if he ended up anywhere else, but probably not if he's like a 70 overall now. But he'll probably get his number retired in Atlanta, which is funny. But yeah, that's it's gonna be part 1 of this video. So I'm gonna take a break here, and then I'll record part 2 at some point, which will be the second half of these players' careers. But so far, 10 seasons, 6 championships, a bunch of MVPs for Kevin Durant, and 1 for Luka Doncic. So pretty good so far. I kind of expected this team to do well, and they have not surprised me. The only thing that has been surprising is like how good Valanciunas has been, because like, he's up there with like Chris Bosh and some of the actual Hall of Famers in terms of at least his overall rating, which is surprising. But yeah, pretty good so far. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I hope to see you again in part 2.